Hey guys, Coach Lou here. Hope you're all having a fabulous day. Excuse me, I've just finished training my shoulders and I've just finished off with some sprinting and jogging, and as you can see, I'm a bit of a sweaty mess. Checking in with you today because a question I get asked often and something I see often in the gym is overtraining. And people often say, can I overtrain? Or you may see people in the gym coming in and training the same muscle group 2-3 nights in a row, maybe just because they haven't been shown what to do. So the answer to my question is, yeah, you can overload the muscles. And what I mean by that is, you don't want to be training the same muscle group 2 days in a row. Reason why? Because that muscle is still repairing, it's still sore, and you don't want to break it back down again. So for example, I've just trained my shoulders, so I don't want to train my shoulders again tomorrow. Some people will say, well, how can you train something twice a week? And my answer to that will be, train it twice a week if it's a problematic area. Or a strong area. So for example, I trained my legs twice because when I got back into training I was adamant my butt was going to look like what it looked like before I had my little guy and not looking like it had fainted. So I trained my legs twice a week. My triceps were always a problematic area for me as well after I had my little guy, so I try if I can train them twice a week. What I do though is I make sure that they're opposising ends of the week and I make sure that I'm not sore. If you're still sore, there really isn't much point in training that muscle again because it's still repairing and it's not ready to train again. And it's something I see often. Something people will say to me, well, what, should you only train one body part at a time? I myself only train, for example, legs. I'll do my chest and my triceps together. I train my shoulders, usually on their own. I train my back and biceps together. I wouldn't really recommend coming in and training every body part in one night. I would try and split them up if you can, mainly because you need it to repair. Sometimes you can go with, you might get programs where you're doing all over body workouts, but generally if that's the case, it's for a lot of fat burning workout rather than a muscle building workout. Something I see a lot of as well is I see people when they first come in, they get really into it and they end up burning themselves out. What I mean by that is sometimes people come in twice a day, every day, and they get to a point maybe a couple of months down the road where they just simply can't sustain it anymore. And usually you have to sit down with those kind of clients and say, well listen, you've bored yourself. You don't physically need to come in twice a day, every day of the week. You need to let your body repair, and that's something I think when people are training that they forget about, that you've got to look after your body. Even though you're training it, you must have those rest days as well, and you must let your body repair. So generally a Saturday and Sunday is my rest day, unless I've missed a training session throughout the week, which is very, very rare for me. But the most important thing to realise is if you are going to train twice a week, don't overload those muscles, don't overtrain those muscles, make sure they've repaired before you continue to work on them again. And I was actually just talking to somebody yesterday about this, which kind of sparked my idea to pop it on a video for you. And like I say, when you're in the gym, if you don't know what you're doing, go and ask a coach. Go and ask someone and get a programme, rather than just going through every single exercise and every machine that's in the gym and then realising, 4 weeks down the line that nothing's happening because you're overloading all those muscles all the time. Oh, it's always something pops up on my screen when I'm talking to you guys. So just a short video, I just thought it might be something useful for you to remember. So just as a wee checkpoint, if you're training anything twice a week, make sure there's a gap, make sure you're not sore. If you're training especially for fat burning and muscle growth, I would recommend splitting those body parts up and not just doing an all over workout every single day. Make sure you get those rest days in, they are important. Remember as well guys, taking protein shakes and taking amino acids will really help your training as well if you're weight training. So get in, take your amino acids while you're training and take your protein shake as soon as you train to help repair that muscle, to help that muscle grow again. But the most important thing when you're training is not to overtrain and not to overload the muscles. When it comes to CV based exercise, I did a video on this the other day, it's very similar. You don't need to be doing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of it, and that's why you need to make sure you always find a program that is suitable for your body and a program that is clever for your body. So there's those two kind of ways of looking at it. You've got the CV side of things, where if you're doing too much of it, you're going to start burning your muscle. Whereas with weight-based training, if you're overloading, you're going to slow down the process because you're not giving those muscles a chance to repair and build. So when it comes to training, I suppose you've got to be quite clever with it. It's not there's a magic formula, it's just the fact that you need to make sure you understand what you're doing. So if you are training on a gym on your own without a coach, make sure that you look it up and get some sort of guidance, or speak to a coach and get some sort of guidance as to what you should train and when's best for you to train, and what muscle groups you should train. Like I say, if you have a problematic muscle group and you want to train it twice a week, just make sure there's that gap in between. Don't do it 2 days in a row. Sometimes 3 or 4 is okay. So I train my legs on a Monday and a Friday. Tend to train my triceps and my chest on a Tuesday, and I try and find another workout for those triceps later on in the week if I have time. But again, if I'm sore, I don't bother. And same with my legs, if I'm still sore, I don't bother, because of the fact that the body clearly still needs a bit of time to repair before doing that workout again. So just a quick video this morning. Any questions, you know where I am to ask. Have a fab day. Can you overtrain? Yes, you can.